Welcome back to the channel, guys. In the previous video, we went over the 10 hardest schedules for this year, but in this video, we're going to go the opposite direction and go over the top 10 easiest Power 5 schedules for the 2023 season. And we'll get right into it, guys, starting with number 10, and that is Texas Tech out of the Big 12. Now, Texas and Oklahoma are still in the conference this year, and they added two other teams to make it bring it to 12. But this year, Texas Tech, even though they do play TCU, Texas, Kansas State, and Oregon, their schedule is pretty weak top to bottom. The other 8 games, not looking too good for it, and they actually have the 103rd ranked average opponent power ranking for the entire FBS. There's 133 teams. They rank 103rd average power rating for their opponents. Moving on to number 9, we go to the ACC with the University of Miami. Now, the ACC in recent years has been weak. You'll see a lot of teams on this list from the ACC, but Miami is ranked 69th overall. Their overall opponent power ranking average is 119th. Again, that's one of the weakest in the country. Even though they do play Clemson and Florida State and Texas A&M, those are the 3 hardest games of the schedule. Miami, Ohio, Bethune-Cookman, and Temple is not going to move any freaking levers and not going to move any needles with terms of how scared they are for their non-conference. But Miami is the 9th easiest schedule in the Power 5. Moving on to number 8, go to the Big 10, Maryland. Yes, Maryland plays in the Big 10 East. Yes, they still have to play at Ohio State, had to play Michigan, and they still have to play Penn State, which is the 3 toughest opponents anybody could ever play this year. But the other 9 opponents, it's a joke. Towson, Charlotte, Virginia, Michigan State, Indiana, Illinois, at Northwestern, Nebraska, and Rutgers. I mean, again, if they didn't have even 2 of those Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State matchups, they probably wouldn't even be in the top 100 with how easy this schedule is. But Maryland comes in at number 8 in the Power 5. They're 70th overall in strength of schedule ranking. Moving on to number 7, we're going to go back to the Big 12, Oklahoma State. Now, just like Texas Tech, they get an easier draw in conference. They miss out on Texas, and even though they have to play Kansas State, they play Oklahoma and Kansas State, and those are their 2 toughest in-conference opponents. Non-conference, Central Arkansas, Arizona State, and South Alabama. What a joke. What an absolute joke. They only play 2 teams in the top 35 or the top 30 of the power ranking, and as you see, their average opponent power ranking is 101st ranked in the country. Oklahoma State, 71st overall in the Power 5. Number 6, go back to the ACC, we have Boston College. Now, Boston College originally played in the weaker division, or the stronger division, but now that they joined divisions, got rid of them in the ACC, this is a really weak schedule. Their toughest opponent is Florida State. They're ranked 15th. That is the only opponent ranked in the top 30 in the power ratings that they play this year. Louisville's 33rd and Pittsburgh's 37th. Nobody else is in the top 50 of power ratings. Their non-conference is Northern Illinois, Holy Cross, and Army, and UConn. I mean, that's a joke. That's probably the easiest non-conference schedule of any Power 5 team. The only reason they're not the lowest is because of they have a decent in-conference schedule. But Boston College, 73rd overall in strength of schedule. Moving in the top 5, actually going back to the Big 10 East, Penn State. Now, Maryland had to play Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State, 3 of the top 5 best teams in the country this year. Penn State just has to play 2 of them, Ohio State and Michigan. And even though Iowa is ranked 12th in the power rating, the rest of their schedule is not good. West Virginia is very weak. It's a Power 5 opponent. Delaware is not good. They're in FCS. Illinois is going to take a step back this year. And UMass Minutemen. They've been one of the worst teams in college football each of the last 4 years. So Penn State, even though their average opponent power rating is 16th, their schedule is very weak top to bottom. Besides those 2 really tough games and that 1 decent game against Iowa, the rest of their schedule is an absolute joke. Penn State, 74th overall strength of schedule. Number 4 is out of the Pac-12, the lowest ranked Pac-12 team, Washington State. They're actually ranked 83rd overall. Even though their average opponent power ranking is 26, and their non-conference has Wisconsin, the rest of it is just not good. Colorado State, Northern Colorado, even though they do play Oregon State and Oregon and Washington, UCLA is going to take a step back. Arizona, the power rating is not good. Arizona State, not good. Stanford, not good. California, not good. And Colorado with prime time. Even though they have all this off-season hype, they have a lot of people coming in. They also had a lot of people going out. And Vegas had their over/under at 3.5. So it's not like this team's going to go from 1-11 to 10-2 conference championship contender. So Washington State, the 83rd overall strength of schedule, 4th in the Power 5, is the weakest schedule. Number 3 is Iowa. Out of the Big Ten West, well, the Big Ten still has divisions. It's the last year. Their non-conference is Utah State, Iowa State, and Western Michigan. Their cross-division is Penn State, Rutgers, and Michigan State. So the two toughest opponents they play are Penn State, Wisconsin, and Iowa State. Even though it's on the road, they're pretty decent power rating. Those are the 3 in the top 20. The rest of it's just not good. Purdue is going to take a step back. Michigan State's going in the wrong direction fast. Minnesota is going to be a decent opponent, but they're not ranked too high in the analytics. Northwestern is trash right now. Rutgers and Illinois are not doing good in Nebraska. Who knows? They're such a wild card. Nobody knows, but they're just going to take the lesser of them and assume they're not going to be as good. So Iowa, 90th overall strength of schedule, number 3 in the Power 5. Number 2 is Louisville, another ACC team on this list. Louisville is the second easiest Power 5 schedule, and look at their opponent power rating. Average opponent ranking is 120th. That's insane. And if you look at their schedule, they play Notre Dame in the non-conference, and they play Kentucky in the non-conference. Their toughest conference opponent is at Pittsburgh. Nobody else is in the top 40. So Georgia Tech, Boston College, NC State, Pitt, or Duke, Virginia Tech, UVA, and Miami. That is their conference schedule. One of the easiest conference schedules of not only of all the Power 5. So Louisville has the second easiest Power 5 schedule in 2023. But who has the easiest? Who is number 1 on this list? It is the ACC team. Hey, you guessed it, Syracuse. Average opponent power ranking is 131st. Yes, they have the third easiest, or the third lowest average opponent power rating of all the composite. Meaning, out of all the teams that play, their average power rating is ranked third easiest. There's 133 teams that are ranked 131st. Syracuse still has to play Clemson and Florida State, and again, Pittsburgh is the 3rd best team. Non-conference is an absolute joke, though. Colgate, Western Michigan, Purdue, and Army. I mean, besides after that, the September 30th through October 14th, that is the hardest 3 games, one of the hardest 3-game stretches in the whole Power 5. But other than that, there's nothing. Virginia Tech is not good. Boston College is not good. Pittsburgh's average. Georgia Tech has not been good. Wake Forest will be average to below average. So Syracuse, 103rd ranked strength of schedule this year. They have the easiest Power 5 schedule in 2023. And that is my video, guys. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell for all future top 10 lists regarding sports.